Hello, everyone. Vicky Schettini here, and I have the pleasure of introducing Regina Gulbinas. She is a business strategist, and I got the pleasure of speaking to her just for a little bit right before doing this. I am blown away at what she does. Honestly, I haven't heard anybody do exactly what she's doing, so I am really, really impressed, and I'm honored to have Regina here. How are you doing, Regina?
Very well and excited to be here as well. Thank you for having me.
No, thank you. So we got, I got a chance to get a little sneak peek before we started recording, and I'm really, really excited over everything. Just tell us all exactly what does your business, you say business strategies. Tell us exactly what does that entail for someone that is in business.
Absolutely happy to share. So, I've been a life and business strategist for the past 17 years. I have focused primarily on helping companies reorganize. So, I would walk into a company that's financially failing and they're in financial chaos and they're basically failing, facing closure of the company after investing their heart and soul and all of their monies into trying to grow a business. And then I would put everything back together and kind of hand it back to the CEO. So I would teach him to navigate through the failure and get them back to a healthy position for their company and position them for long-term profitability and success. Because I've seen so much heartache and pain and chaos that comes with failure and so much financial devastation, the effect it has on the employees and the CEO and the CEO's family, I've recently redirected my focus to actually help companies grow correctly, because growing company correctly is two very different things. So now my focus is helping people grow their company correctly and position them so that they are actually here and profitable 5 years from now, 10 years from now, 15, 20 years from now.
Wow, and that, that kind of hits home for me. And I do tell the story. I had, I've always had great work ethics and I worked constantly my whole life. This, I have a few companies, and one of the things that I like that you say is that you want to make the company profitable because it's not always profitable. And I do think that companies will go through ups and downs, and when you go through a down, you have to learn. But for those business owners out there that are struggling working so much, because really we're the last ones to get paid,
Mm-hmm.
um, one of the struggles that I had, and I really had to lecture myself, I was already working 20 some hours and I was stuck. I was stuck until I lectured me into doing something to grow it because I knew my body wasn't going to make it all those hours constantly. Is that something you were able to do? Because for me, I just didn't want to give away the power and get an assistant and have them make decisions and have them do what I was doing, and some of the stuff I really don't need to do. It was just paperwork.
It's actually a great point because there is only two reasons that the CEO, the company, the CEO, to me, the company is the CEO is really one and the same. There's only two reasons the company will fail. And number one, the main reason is exactly what you're discussing. At some point, you must realize and you have to be smart enough to know that you're not smart enough to know everything. That's number one.
Yeah.
Number two, excuse me, trying to do everything yourself will yield nothing but chaos. It is not a profitable solution. You can't do everything yourself. I always tell my clients, my CEOs, the only things you need to touch is things that generate income. Everything else needs to go down the line to the next person. Excuse me.
It's okay. And it is hard because you think that nobody's going to be able to do it like you can, or have the follow up, the care, but it's like with anything. I have the virtual assistants, and some of them didn't work out. It's same as if you hire somebody here. But sometimes I'll be honest, it would be hard. It would have been hard for me unless I had to have a serious talk to myself and say, "Look, I can't do this because there's only 24 hours in one day." When you're so backed up to get somebody to come and train them, it's going to put you farther behind.
Yep,
Um,
absolutely. And you have to be able to really measure. And this is something you can measure. You got to honestly ask yourself, by me doing all of the work, all of the administrative stuff, even the paperwork, that's the biggest time killer for any CEO. How much money am I not making? So you got to be able to say, okay, I have a virtual assistant or a secretary, whatever you want to call them. You hired somebody, whether it's remote or whether it's somebody in your office, you're paying them, let's say $20 an hour, whatever the rate you choose to pay. You have to be able to measure that. I'm paying somebody, let's say $100 for the day to come in or to outsource to do this specific task. Or do I want to save that $100 or work on something that's going to make me $10,000 30 days from now? Because all of these are measurable things. And you have to be able to measure it and really ask yourself the hard questions. And as a CEO, be able to answer them. Be honest with yourself. How much money are you not making? People are focused on how much am I saving? So big deal, you save $100 a day, but how much are you not making by being completely buried in moving paperwork around your desk all day long? It's not really making you that much money, if any money actually. So you should, as a CEO, you should really be touching things that are money producing. Everything else, give it to somebody else. Like I said, ask yourself, am I saving $100 a day, or am I not making $5,000 a day?
and it is kind of hard though, because I remember when I was struggling, um, I thought I just couldn't afford it paying somebody, 40 hours a week,
Mhm.
and I just couldn't afford it because I was barely making it if the company wasn't producing. But you don't have to. I didn't start them off at 40 hours. I did baby steps because I needed to make sure. And I mean, I didn't have you for to help me and the expertise, but that's a great point what you just made. I didn't realize how much money I was losing by not. I thought, okay, if I don't sleep tonight, I'll just stay up, get the paperwork done. I just save that money. Instead, what I do now is that time that I would have been doing paperwork, because my mind's always working. That's just the way my brain is done. I think about ways of being creative and getting more business.
Yes.
Um, so what do you do? Would you come in, like, let's say you come into my company and I am one of those people that I'm struggling because I'm working 20-hour days.
Mhm.
I barely have time to talk to you. How would you come and help me?
Well, the initial thing I want to do is I come in and I see where the company is at right now, right at this moment. You know, everybody is chasing the next sale. They're chasing the next deal. Growing from a position of standing on thin ice is not growing. You're just delaying failure of a company. And the further down, the further up you go, the more debt you're accumulating. Because if you're not scaling correctly, you're accumulating problems, debt, loss of time. You're accumulating some sort of potential liability, and it's waiting for you in the future. So the first thing I want to see is, where are you at now? Are your systems bulletproof, so to speak? Are you
Mm-hmm.
profitable? Are you making correct decisions? If I'm coming in and you're the CEO and you're doing everything yourself or trying to, like I said, I've worked with companies anywhere from one person. My biggest client was 350 employees. And a lot of CEOs hold on to these tasks that are money wasters. They just kill profitability, because ultimately it does bleed into the bottom line. You're either making money or you're losing money. There's no other option. It's one or the
Yeah.
other. So if I come in and you're doing everything yourself or most of it yourself, first of all, I see, like I said, exactly where the company is at. Are you on thin ice or are you on solid foundation? Are you ready for growth? And number two, I start asking you, really diving in, what are you doing as the CEO? What is your responsibility? Because a lot of the times the CEO will be the bookkeeper, the janitor, the salesperson, the marketing. Horrible idea.
That's
And I
me.
will, that's you.
That's
So
me. That was me.
so I want to know what the CEO is doing, and then I strip it down to what the CEO should be doing. And the questions are simple. Is it making you money or not? It's not making you money, very good. It's going to go to whatever, this person to the next, and the next, and the next, and the next. So like I said, the initial thing when I just walk in, I want to know where you're at. And you know what's interesting is that that initial discussion I have with the CEOs, they usually have no idea where they're at. They just don't know. They're so buried in the line items of the day. They have no clue where the company's at. They have no clue what's in the pipeline. They have no clue of their margins. They have no clue of their really sales process, because how can you possibly have a tight grip around anything if you're doing everything?
Yeah.
If you're doing everything, nothing gets done. It's a fact. You cannot do everything well every single day. It's not possible. That's exactly why I keep kind of harping at my CEOs. And the question is always the same. Is it making you money? It is fantastic. We're going to keep doing it. It's not very good. You can't touch this anymore. And
I
I give,
love it.
yeah, absolutely.
I love it. So let me ask you, because I'm excited now. What if someone is starting a new company? What would you do with someone like that? Because um and including myself, I'm always starting new companies, and it takes time to set it up right. Because if you might be fantastic at sales, and all the business comes in, but then you can't fill all your orders, or stay on top of it, so you're going to lose all your customers. So it's to customer retention. So what if it's a new company that's starting out? W- Do you come in and set it up and let uh, the CEO go at it and go do what they're good at? What do you do?
So
I'm excited.
if it's somebody brand new, it's all about a strategy, right? You must have a strategy in your life, in your relationships, in your business. You got to know where you're going. Otherwise, it's like taking a trip without a roadmap. So if I'm in LA and I'm trying to get to New York without a roadmap, it's going to be a pretty bumpy ride, and a very long one, and I may never get there to begin with. So initially, I want to know, where do you want to get? Where are you headed? And then
Hmm.
the way I work is, I want to know, let's decide the end result we want to achieve. And a lot of the times I talk to the people, they think they want to go somewhere, but after I talk to them, they actually maybe want a different destination. They never really thought about the questions I'm asking them. So I'm inspiring their mind to work a little bit differently, to answer different questions. And they can say, well, I didn't know I want this, but it feels like I want this more than I wanted that before.
Yeah.
So I come in and we outline the end result. What do you want? And then we strategically try to create the step-by-step process, because you need processes in place. You need timelines to measure it. You want to be able to measure everything. And what it does is that it keeps you on track. Now, business is extremely bumpy. It's always up and down. It's usually
Hmm.
down. So, it's not as glamorous as people think as it is. It's
Yeah.
nerve wracking. It's a lot of sleepless nights. It's a lot of stress. It's a lot of time from your families. And it's a lot of downs more than ups. But the up points are extremely rewarding in so many ways, spiritually, emotionally, financially. So, but we want to know, where are you going? And then we will decide, that I will help you decide and navigate you very strategically how we're going to get there. And
Hmm.
then we start implementing, because we got to implement, measure, implement, measure. So I stay with the clients. I've had some clients that stay for 5 minutes that don't want to do the work, and I have to let them go. I don't take on clients, even if they're willing to pay a lot. If they're not willing to do the work, that's not the client I can work with. It's just not my personality. I cherry pick the ones that is going to really put in the hours and the effort and their heart and soul, and their business matters to them and they want to make an impact for people. That's my client. Everybody else, I can't help them. But those guys is, we just we try and measure everything along the way. And some people have stayed with me for 10 years because they understand the value of a strategist. You know, I always tell people, if you really look at people that have achieved extensive financial wealth, I'm only speaking of financial wealth, money in the bank, over the course of our history, the smartest people always had mentors. They always had strategists. I think Tony Robbins charges like $1 million a year for being a business and life strategist, to have somebody as a customer. I think he charges $1 million a year. That was a few years back. I don't know what it is now, because people that understand the value are willing to pay. They're going to pay $1 million. They're going to get 20 or 30 or 40, 50 back because of the strategic moves and the relationship itself. There is value in a correct, it's like a partner in your business. I don't come in as a partner. I never go into equity or anything. That's not my, I just charge a monthly retainer. That's it. But it's the same as having a partner that's running alongside you, because employees will never be able to give you that.
Mm-hmm.
Employees are employees. And if they were wired to be a CEO, they would go out and be a CEO. So the
Exactly.
place is not the right place to bounce your ideas off of. You have to have somebody of an equal position, equal mindset and mind frame, and equal spirit to be able to strategize, push you through the down times, and really be able to always remind you and show you your vision when the days get rough.
Exactly. You know, one of the things you said that I really like is people that you don't want to work with is they don't want to do the work. And it was really hard when I decided to make the switch because I was tired, I was burning out. And there was one night in particular, it was 12:30 at night and I had gotten a virtual and it was so easy for me to just do what I needed her to do. But I thought, you know what? If I don't stop and let her do it, she's always going to be making this mistake. So it's so hard to stop and let the other people do it. Sometimes we have to check ourselves.
Yes.
So um and I like what you say, that you are somebody that's there that can say, okay, this is not making any sense. Because w- one of the things, the first time I decided to get virtuals, I had all the intentions, but I didn't commit to do it. So it didn't work because I didn't commit to making changes. And I think those are the people that you just don't want to, you know, you're right. It's defeating the purpose, you going in there. If you don't commit to yourself and to making changes, you sometimes have to take a step back to be able to go forward.
Mm-hmm.
And I like that you're there because sometimes it's easy for us to revert back to the
Mm-hmm.
old ways.
Mm-hmm.
um and after you do it something for a long time, then you start getting into the habit. But
Yeah.
um I really really like everything you're saying. I just think it's a great idea. Let me ask you, if someone is trying to get, I really didn't even know that people like you existed.
Oh,
And I'm so like focused on my businesses. I just think it's fantastic, and I'm pretty sure there's probably other strategies out there, but everything you say makes sense to me. If someone's thinking about starting a business or is struggling, or they're flatline, they can't grow their business, and they're giving it already 200%, how would they be able to get a hold of you?
a lot of people get in touch with me either through my actually Facebook profile. I've gotten so many people contacting me. Just Regina Gulbinas, my personal profile. People reach out to me. I mean, constantly. At least 2, 3 people a week will reach out, even just to ask a question. Or my website, reginagulbinas.com.
And Gulbinas is Gulb as in boy, N as in Nancy, AS as in Sam, right?
Correct, correct. Or if they just want to send an email, reginagulbinas@gmail.com, whatever is convenient. Yeah.
Perfect. And we're going to put all your information below and make sure we get tag you on the posts also. But I mean, thank you so much for coming and speaking with me. I am like so excited, and I'm actually going to get to meet this wonderful lady next week. So I'm really even more excited about that. But definitely those of you who are in business or are thinking about starting, or you're working already the 20 hours a day. I've been there, I've done that, and it is a commitment you have to make to yourself to reach the next level. When you take a step back and I know what you're thinking is I'm already behind, I can't catch up to stop. You have to take the step back to be able to go forward and grow it to the way you want to do it. This is a wonderful lady. She's got how many years experience?
Oh, 17.
Oh, wow. She doesn't even look that like she would even be to have 17 years in the workforce, but 17 years experience. So I think she knows what she's talking about. Everything's making sense. And reach out to her. Reach out to her, get the advice, and your goals are huge. Where is it that you're trying to go and see where your company's at? I think you are fantastic, and I can't wait to see you next week.
I'm excited about that too, actually. Yeah, very much so.
Beautiful. Thank you again for being coming and speaking with me, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thank you for having me. This was a pleasure. And I hope I brought value to the audience. Like I said at the beginning, I just want to make sure that this helped, even if one person, I'll be happy.
And it's kind of like a hidden something that nobody talks about, but we all go through it.
Yes.
So I think this is important that we brought it out to the light, because anyone that has in business knows exactly what you're talking about.
Yep.
And if you're thinking about going into business, never had one before, then you I think it's good idea for you to contact Regina, because it's going to save you hundreds and hundreds of hours. So I think it's great. Again, you can reach her at Regina Gulbinas. Regina, it's Regina, Gulbinas, Gulbinas.com, right?
Yes.
Perfect. Thank you again, and you have an amazing day.